So here we are, and we're now ready to get started. I have my 2 vinyl pieces already cut, but I do want to trim them up. I'm also working with a sublimated tumbler, which is not necessary. I was just lazy and didn't want to spray paint a tumbler and wait for it to dry. I was really excited to just move on forward with this tutorial. However, as you will notice, you can use a sublimation tumbler if for any reason you're in a pinch. Here I'm just making sure that I have nice straight edges on my vinyl before I start. As you will notice, I do pull my vinyl strip completely off the backing. In some cases, it does make it easier for me. And then I'll put my cup on the cup holder just so that I don't have to worry about my cup moving all around. As with any vinyl, you want to place this straight up on the tumbler and then work your way from the center out. Once you have the vinyl on the tumbler, go ahead and remove your stand. And now we're just going to work this first piece of vinyl onto the cup. Now I was getting air pockets, and I did get air pockets in both pieces of vinyl, but I was only worried about major air pockets and or major wrinkles. I get to the little tiny bubbles later. So you can use your weeding tool or the tip of your X-Acto knife to pop the little air bubbles that you see. I'm going to save that for later, and here I'm just going to go ahead and trim off the rim. You can use your X-Acto knife for this. I just think it's much easier to use scissors. Once I have that cut off, I'm going to go ahead and make sure everything is nice and adhered to my tumbler. All right, we're going to go ahead and bring our stand back, and I'm going to do the exact same thing with the white sunflower vinyl. Here I'm just making sure that it is going to overlap. So once again, go ahead and peel off the entire backing. Start with the center. Once you get it on the tumbler, you can go ahead and remove your stand. And now we're just going to place this on exactly the same way as we did the first side. The seam looks pretty good. All right, same as before, go ahead and trim that off. And for the bottom, we're going to use the Wicked Shimmer tool. I do go back through and remove as many of the larger air pockets as possible. You will notice that I go back through several times, popping any bubbles that I catch. We're going to trim off that excess, and then we're going to go ahead and recut it with the Wicked Shimmer tool. Then we're going to attempt to clean up the bottom. I wasn't very satisfied with the adhesive that was remaining, so I ended up taping off the entire tumbler, and I went ahead and spray painted it anyways. Use a flat white from Rust-Oleum, and it dries very quickly. This kind of proves this vinyl is amazing because it adheres to the tumbler very, very well. So once I have the whole thing spray painted, I do remove the tape immediately. Once I remove the tape, I allow this to dry. You will also notice that when I'm pulling the painter's tape off, it does not affect my vinyl at all. Okay, so I went ahead and put it on the turner because it makes it so much easier for me, and my paint is clearly dry. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my vinyl gold strips that I'm going to use, and I'm going to go ahead and follow the line that I already made for myself with the vinyl. When trimming up the bottom, I used the printable vinyl as my guide to trim up the vinyl strip so it matched the seam. Of course, I do this to both sides, and I did speed up the other side for you guys, but I just wanted you to see me doing both. Now, I did not spray seal this with clear Rust-Oleum at all prior to epoxy, but if that's your preference, you absolutely can. And sealing it, just make sure that your vinyl strips do adhere fully to the tumbler prior to epoxy. So for my first coat of epoxy, I'm going to add in the Glorious from AB Designs, which is a glitter epoxy additive. This tumbler took 2 final coats and it was completed. As you will notice, I only literally take a pinch. That's all that this 20 ounce needed. Mix that up into your epoxy really, really well, and you're ready to epoxy. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in on this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please hit that like button. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials coming soon. Also remember, with any coats of epoxy, make sure you hit it with your heat gun to pop any bubbles that you may or may not be able to see.